Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
Invading here to steal away the blue, but I think Cuz isn't too bothered. He will just pick up the dragon in return. The fact that you got that one grub from the first set, you got the dragon, I think he's pretty happy with how things pan.
Casting back into lane, and no real advantages picked up from anywhere. So I guess what we need to talk about is when these teams are going to be strong. And I feel like T1 right now is looking like a good moment as Faker wants to catch up and pick up Peter. Deadly Flourish doesn't find the mark though, and I think this Rel is just dead. Teleport to come in from the Rumble. There's a teleport also from the Galio that doesn't quite work out, but that Blast Cone is working out here, and Doctarm looking to try and turn this. Good knock up onto Doran there as the heroic entrance comes through, and now the taunt will set up for the fourth bullet. Doran's still alive for so long as they take down the Galio. They get rid of the Viego as Gumayusi is caught and thrown in under the turret, but they're unable to kill him. Faker is still at such high health, and BDD hits the floor. T1 walk away the huge victors in this fight, and Peter still wanting a little bit more off the back end. Don't think they're going to quite find it as Deadly Flourish, actually. Let's see whether Doctarm can do anything. As Ona going in one more time. Dancing Grenade value going to be pretty high, but not high enough as Peter hits the deck as well.
And so many low health
Concussive blows destroyed. Concussive blows destroyed over and over. As this was just a bridge too far there for KT, wanting to find something in amongst it.
I also think getting baited a good amount by some of the healing that like the Xin Zhao and the Ahri have in their kits.
And KT did have some anti-Lucian things, you know, that they could utilize to mitigate it. He's relatively low range. They have catching him as he's walking towards the brush, as Magnastorm is going to pull him ever further. Cuz looking for an angle there, but Gumayusi just dashes his way out. Remember, didn't have flash after being shoved under the turret previously.
I mean, I think like the angle Peter found was good, but like you need follow-up, and when the only follow-up is the Jhin, who wasn't even that close.
That equalizer positioning, absolutely fantastic there by Doran as Cuz not quite able to do anything. As Peter going to close in on Carrier, but they lose their Galio already. The curtain has been called as Gumayusi taking a bit of damage, but Cuz just having to get out of there. BDD wanting to be the hero, finds the Emperor's Divide, and they take down the Lucian. Shutdown comes in, and now Cuz has turned into a very, very powerful AD carry. It's just not quite enough to be able to get anything else done, and T1 still walk away feeling better.
Yeah, I mean, I think
BDD together so far, so still looking for first turret and still looking for these objectives. This is not going to get anything for anyone though,
yeah,
as they've shared.
Turret likely to go down in the bot lane any second, so T1 should be able to secure those. I think Doran is just denying farm as best he can.
Right, there it goes. Cool new shoes now put together for T1.
One dragon gives you a lot of time to work with, just to farm up and
the problem
avoid
is,
interacting too much.
I'm a little bit worried about the whole Hextech Soul situation, as Cuz looking for a potential gank onto Faker, but instead he just finds the entirety of T1 and dies. The Galio comes in, Gumayusi will get knocked up, Peter's alongside him, Emperor's Divide picks up Guma, but he dashes his way out. He looks like he's going to be safe as Doctarm actually flashing in to get on top of him. The equalizer does a lot of damage, but so does BDD. Faker trying to get out of there, Doctarm, he needs another bullet, but does not have it. And KT now just running for the hills. In the meantime, Ona is just destroying KT's stuff.
Not the person you typically expect to be split pushing, but Ona will do what he does in a fix. And I think KT, just too many resources invested to try and kill that Lucian.
Yeah.
With the Viego dead as well, you just don't have the throughput in these longer fights.
Yep, Ona is now going to utilize that time spent on the bottom side to do a lot of damage here to Peter, and casting. Great knock-up with the crash down from Peter. Will keep casting alive at least as Doran tanks up the turret for a long time. Cuz wanting to make his way in, wastes no time as he flashes forward. This could be some resets as Carrier puts up the door, and Cuz still looking for more, but look at that. It's the concussive blows. It is so difficult for KT to deal with as the bullets coming on through there. Great dash to bait in casting from Gumayusi. And KT
situations where baited a bit by the flash, but even if he had ulted Carrier, he wasn't going to die. And the turnaround is so quick from the side of T1.
T1 now just going to be taking away yet another blue buff. This is not going to give it to everyone, as we are not quite late enough in the game for that. The gold lead has moved to about 8,000, as Doctarm still looking for a little bit more, but man, he's got a Zeal and a Ghost Blade. Just feels like he does negative damage at the moment. And Sundisk is going to be put up. And it actually eats a charge there from the Rift Herald, which is kind of cute. Ona going in now, though, as T1 feeling aggressive. This is what you were talking about. Ona can kind of just throw his body in, but does now not have the ultimate for the next fight.
Pretty big resource to take away, but I think T1 could just back away. There's no pressure for them to fight right now.
And minions as well.
Do you know how many KT fans are in that building? Max, this can't happen.
Well, it might just be set up as there's a shattering strike. Okay, Ona taking a lot of damage. Heartbreaker comes forward. Cuz is now another jungler as he looks to get on top of Carrier. Great knock-up just to interrupt. And now the resets fly through. Doran, though, gets the equalizer down. BDD is going to greet him as Deadly Flourish will go wide. Look at how low these health bars are as the Otacon is looking terrifying. And that is 2.5.
And there is Hexgate. You don't need to be right there to be contributing in a fight, but the rest of the team needs to make something happen quickly.
Yep. Casting can always get in if someone does decide to go for an engage. That looks like it's going to be Peter. Let's see whether he can get the angle as Cuz gonna get blocked off the equalizer. Great position to keep the Viego out as Peter is actually out of there. He steals the heal! How the heck did he even get in? He's gonna withdraw as well, and I think that KT will say, Worth, you do not need to fight. You do not need to fight.
You don't suffer as much if you die.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned for KT right now, but...
Are you sure? Because I've seen our players play as, okay, this is looking a bit stronger. Doran is just dead. He had no equalizer, of course, so at least it's not that T1 weren't able to utilize it, but now they will be able to collect themselves the dragon, and incrementally, KT are finding little advantages to bring them back into this game.
Definitely gives you a confidence boost.
Peter's dead. Well, he's not dead. Emperor's Divide is going to deliver Ona as well. Let's see what they can find here as he's dueling against Cuz. Ona able to flash out, though, denies the reset as Carrier does fall. Still, it's a gorgeous charm there from Faker, who's just keeping control of this Galio, and everyone is going to be withdrawing. And yeah, T1
they need to understand that. And
well, as you said, Ox, it doesn't actually provide them with any damage, anything like that. So they're still just as strong as when they were forcing fights before.
Oh no!
As Faker is going in, does have another charge of the Spirit Rush. Is wondering when to use it. Does find the charm here under Casting as Ona setting up for it. That is a Justice Punch as Casting trying to get himself out of there. The culling will cut him down though, and down goes BDD as well. It's a double for Gumayusi as KT trying to find some follow-up kills as the charm this time will go wide, despite the fact that Faker has been so incredibly accurate.
Just to funnel into T1 and die. And I just don't understand it. I feel like they'd really put themselves in a position where, as much as the game wasn't in a good spot, it wasn't navigate. It wasn't. Yes, they are 8,000 gold ahead, 8,500.
Yep. Faker might be close to dying as Heartbreaker comes forward. He flashes, he dashes, and Faker is out of there.
To the concept of, you know, often teams are like, okay, the AD carries a whole item on ours.
They don't understand what weakness is, Orcs. That's how it works.
You're so right.
Equalizer goes down. There's a Glacial Fissure as well as Faker. Gorgeous wraparound, and you kill the Viego, and you cut the legs out from under KT. Now they just have to wait. Inner turret does fall down. They invest a bit in order to get it, but they will get so much for that investment. The returns are looking good as they take down the first inhibitor of the game. And T1, this game one, looking definitely like they have it in the bag. Still taking a bit of damage here. BDD does need to be respected. But it looks like that's exactly what T1 are going to do. They will take down this inhibitor turret at the same time as Faker once again throws out the ulti. This time doesn't hit the charm, but he doesn't have to.
So much damage done to the base here. And now they can just back away, Dragon up 30 seconds.
T1 are able to pick up.
Yes, exactly. So it was all planned.
You need to buy, like, okay, never mind. They are so far away from their base. And now T1 are looking to cut them down once again. Casting in an awkward spot. Magnetstorm connects onto just Faker as now Ona goes in and buys so much space. Casting able to flash his way out, but Ona is able to follow him. Doran goes golden in the nick of time as well as KT are just losing members one after the other. But BDD finding a huge shuffle. Oh, Gumayusi, my God, the damage is absurd. And BDD is still here. The Sand Soldiers are set up and he goes golden just in time. But he is the last man and BDD cannot do it alone. That's what we've been learning this whole year. And T1 will walk forward and finish off game one.
I feel like some of the fights even, KT were playing pretty well, but they're just so far behind, and they just opt into every single fight. T1 cool, calm, and collected.
9-1 and 9 for Ona on this Xin Zhao. It is his best champion, and he keeps getting it every series. Nexus goes down and T1 will be victorious. It's dangerous to actually go on the ride, and they've closed the theme park. You're in fact getting out of like the theme park is closed.
They're looking for, I mean, this is Elise, she's great at diving.
All right, see where the carrier is going to go down. Remember, doesn't have his flash available. Good handshake does come on through. The bailout comes down, and Elise, like you say, good at diving. And so that is going to be first blood going over to Doctom.
Okay, this is good moves coming out. Oh.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, an Infernal Chain is going to land, and he doesn't pick up the turret aggro. So like you were saying, turret is going to reset. Flash comes out finally here as Ona going to have to flash and does survive. The Vi,
they can go for this. It's a little risky, I'll be honest. The fact that Peter has no flash, and they have the bailout, so we'll see if they can make it work.
Yeah, Peter gonna come on over. They find the cocoon. Onigumi is taking a lot of damage. Does have the bailout as Cuz gonna have to get out of there as well. There's the repel, and Peter is gonna get Fate's Call back. Guma able to go down there as it is Cuz picking up the kill. BDD moving over another cocoon, grasping more, and Peter is taking control of this bottom lane. BDD loses half of his health bar, and Ona says, I know what time it is. They're ganking my bottom lane. I'm killing casting again. Let's see whether he can actually get this one down as Doran goes in, finds the slice and dice. He's tanking up that turret, and down goes the Aatrox. There's some more plate gold going over to T1. Faker as well in this mid lane. Might be able to claim a plate. Gumiushi takes a turret shot, does manage to get the plate money, as we see there. Carrier now, hostile takeover available. Cuz looking to grab some grubs. First round were secured there by T1.
Against this Renekton, both of them with the first time completed, but I mean, here's a cluster of all AD carry jump, but he comes.
Whoa! Oh! There's a flash. The flash comes out from Carrier, but it doesn't quite work. He's taking so much damage with the hostile takeover. He's too good! Casting has to flash away as Cuz. A lot of damage there available as BDD coming on over. That is gorgeous amounts of CC being thrown out by the way. The Infernal Chains will connect. Another knock-up as Gumiushi trying to run, but he's not going to get anywhere, and it's a double kill for BDD on the way.
Feeling pretty positive now. Carrier gets caught out. A bit of a miss flash as well. Doesn't get over the wall, and KT find an opportunity to strike.
Sacrificing Peter for the greater good. That's what they're known for. Is now Cuz fighting against Ona here. We'll actually be able to find a decent trade towards the end. And
does catch out Peter and take him down, but BDD flashes over with such confidence.
Oh, the grasping more so good.
Yeah, catches them together. And then the snipe there from BDD as well. And this
yeah, they are,
you know what?
Under pressure.
KT are playing like they're 7k gold behind last game.
Yeah.
But they're actually ahead now.
Fate's Call comes on through. Doran not going to get knocked up, but the cocoon is going to land. This is a lot of money if they're able to take down the Renekton, but it's a lot of damage if they can't. The Glacial Prison goes wide. But so does the hostile takeover. Doesn't quite find the value they're looking for. And now Carrier has overstepped the mark. And BDD, oh, he can hold him in place for forever. There he is, just eats him. And that's another one. 4-0-2 for BDD on the way. And KT, it just took having what looked on paper like the worst draft we've seen in the history of the LCK for 2025 for them to feel absolutely fantastic and find all the advantages.
They're just locked in, you know, and it kind of goes to show that it's not all about draft. They find the angle.
KT are looking for their second dragon. First mountain will go their way. And you mentioned that KT just need to lock in.
Yeah.
This looks like a lock. They're going to lock in on the top side. So this this turret under fire right now, as BDD can clear out minion waves from a very long way away. Faker comes over though, so this could be a lot of money into the coffers of T1. Try and get them back into a favorable position. Rift Herald will stop that from being a reality as Gumiushi comes over, but he's not going to stop this tower from going down. And so mid-outer, pretty important one, as Handshake comes through. Cuz happy to eat that though, as they're just looking for another charge, and they will be able to get it.
Making some good progress, and again, the total goal lead not
state, if you will. Casting doesn't have a turret here, and so he's probably dead. He has a lot of practice at being dead in this game, though, as he does flash away from the gravity well. Arrow going to be avoided. Does get the auto as well for the extra healing. But Ona is underneath the inhibitor turret now. Another heal comes through. It's Faker getting taken down low. The turret was charged up, but not charged up enough. And now KT are looking to answer this one with an Otacon towards the bottom side of the map.
She's just gone. You know, if that Q3 had hit, I mean, maybe even casting turns it around more. But at the end of the day, we'll get this Ruinous Otacon, although This is an early TP from BDD.
Yeah, that is a confident TP if ever I've seen one. They have Rend, they have Smite. Cuz also doesn't have a lot of resistances as it's only Doctarm hit by the hostile takeover. They really want to take some of these flowers down. Cuz with the flash away, Doran slicing, doesn't find it. So not going to get the dice angle. And so they should be able to get in here to try and take some of these flowers. I don't know who was able to get the majority of them.
I think it was kind of a mix. I do think KT ended up with more, but I think that TP from BDD was early. I think obviously just have this lead is on those 2-item spikes, but
He
yeah,
might.
has to, you know, we've kind of talked about object permanence, has to be there.
Well, Glacial Prison going to come down as Owner is going to look to turn it. Peter gets pulled back, and it's a fair bit of damage available here. Only one hit by the hostile takeover. That'll spell the end of Owner, as he does get bailed out, but unfortunately it doesn't do too much. As Doran, he's pressed his R button and cannot do anything about it. So Soul Point going to go over to KT as Faker has said, I just want to kill this inhibitor.
Yeah, okay, BDD flash burn there.
Okay.
I think ultimately Faker out of position a little bit on the setup for that fight, and Oda does everything he can to save him, but a pretty heavy cost to pay. And, you know, just like I wasn't super in agreement with that TP from BDD.
She taking a bit of damage, but that could have been an opportunity for something.
I think maybe just hoping to get the cleanse from Guma in that situation, but he holds his nerve, manages to dodge it. Now down that ult for a little while.
Arrow is there, so Gumayushi can start a fight whenever they would like to. It looks like T1 want to as well. The arrow is going to sail over. Hostile takeover working out. BDD goes golden, but now Doran is in amongst the fight. Casting as well, though, with that World Ender, getting some work done. They take down the Renekton, but the Aatrox cannot survive, and the Chaos Storm is just massive. T1 finally finding themselves a team fight.
Beautiful engage there from T1, getting right on the BDD, and it was so unfortunate because Peter repelled, and in the end, it meant the arrow hit BDD instead, and I think maybe it was never going to be a great fight for KT, but maybe if you tanked the arrow, BDD could have survived a little bit longer, but I think either way, it was just a beautiful engage from T1. Now,
Doctarm wants this against Faker. He doesn't have his ulti, as now Cuz comes on over, and that is just a kill. Really nicely done here by KT. They're going to lose the Baron, but they'll at least take themselves so difficult to take down. The problem is T1 have so much map control off the back of this Baron that this Dragon is going to be...
I would be a little bit concerned about taking this fight into them.
KT are not concerned about it. They are going to go for the fight. They'll get a cleanse. Out of Gumayushi here is casting, possibly getting engaged on by Owner. Meanwhile, there's a Fate's Call needing to be invested. Peter gets himself out, but won't have access to that ability now. This casting standing on top of a ward, teleport in from Doran. And Owner gets on top of this Dragon. Let's see whether they can find an angle here. Already Doran has taken a fair bit of damage, and now BDD needs to stay out of harm's way. The problem was he was in melee range with a Vi. Of course, she flashed on top of him. That made things difficult. But now you were mentioning the Arcane Storm. That goes down, and so does the Dragon. This ward getting so much value here for T1, the one behind the little rock there.
Yep. Just really able to zone them away. A lot of tools unavailable. The fact that the Fate's Call and the Prison were down, and T1 able to secure that Dragon, and now looking towards his bot tower. A little risky though. Remember, Doran doesn't have TP and he isn't here.
Well, KT are looking for it. They're going to go for something here as Faker just sidestepping everything. Good cocoon defensively there onto Carrier to stop him from being able to do too much more.
But now Doran should be able to get this mid-tier too, and the pressure's still on in the bot lane.
Yep. And this is just T1 extricating money from KT's side of the map. Casting comes on over, so that tier 2 doesn't actually fall, but this one
does flash. They are going to start at the Baron.
Oh god. And Doran now getting all that fury. Dominus has been popped down to 50%. As Arrow going to get tanked. Fate's Call going to pull Peter back as Doran going to be the target. He flashes away. As now KT off the Baron for the moment. Doran in an awkward position as Peter finds another cocoon. Casting gets over the wall, but now the rest of T1 move on over, and Casting has been cornered off. The flash over from Cuz is decent, but Peter is just dead. This Arcane Storm is so scary, and Owner gets on in there. The flash on forward, Casting trying to find these Qs, but T1 are a freight train, and Doctarm is dancing, but I just don't know whether he's got the tune, and he does not. Down goes Casting as well. It's a catastrophe for KT, and T1 may just win the game right here.
KT put in a great effort, you know, managing to find some big advantages on the bot side, but when it comes to those team fights, so hard to deal with his T1 composition and the excellence when it comes to fights around Baron. The Arcane Storm was the size of a lane at the end of that fight. and they will close this one out 2-0.
Yeah, T1 just a little bit too better here today. They put up the homestand last time and KT got the better of them, and they return the favor here as KT.
Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
And then Yes closes the information, but he can't cancel the TP. Speaking of canceling...
Oh god, okay, Polu's flashing, Doiv's jumping, and I think Doiv gonna have to flash as well. His door not quite as powerful as Hype goes in as well. Doiv is dead, does get a lot of summoner spells for his troubles, but that is still first blood going over to the AD carry of the Bros, and that is what you get for your bro tax, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Jace making his way back to lane. Morgan gets down towards these grubs first as Pungyeon gonna get flung back once again. Polu comes on over. Emperor's Divide gonna be blocked as there's the flash forward from Closer, but unable to actually get too much out of it. And now Polu's the one that's in trouble. Pungyeon, do you have a Q available? He doesn't, but Doiv does, and he's gonna be able to grab a follow-up kill here for DN Freaks. And now able to move on over towards this grub pit. Yep. So not gonna risk it. Not going to get spotted by a Void Seeker. And Doiv just going to answer this by taking down the enemy.
This could just be 3 grubs for Bro.
Theoretically, there is a Killer Instinct available here for Berserker if they do want to get on over. Void Seeker is going to connect onto Hype. If there's a Pop Blossom flash comes through, that's a lot of value. Weave as well to bring Closer in though. And now Croco is looking to turn it. Life just gets eviscerated in an instant as Pungyeon does make his way out and gets out before the concussive blows goes off. Never mind though, Closer gets over that wall and takes him out. And now Doiv and Berserker needing to leave. And Bro just having the answers here.
And ultimately, but the ult from Polu stops Doiv from following up, and then they just
Closer's dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say they turn onto the Nico, but they turn onto the Talia in this situation. Very difficult because they're both champions that can survive a long time, but aren't tanky. You know, so in Australia,
yeah,
does Santa just wear like board shorts?
Oh yeah, all the time. And he drives a ute as well. It's fantastic as Croco gets engaged on, but he kind of likes that Pop Blossom as the answer, but I think Life is still dead. And Pungyeon, he's going to have to do some funny business to get himself out. Does manage to do so. Void Seeker comes in, hits Polo, and he does with it in hand just yet. And they don't even know the health bar. Now they do, as Berserker finds a Void Seeker. Closer not finding the angle just yet. As Life really wanted to flash on in, get that Pop Blossom happening. Arrow going to come on through. There is the snapback and the immediate flash away from Doiv. The DN Freaks understand that they're not able to do anything about this. Says, okay, Berserker goes in, just nabs himself a kill. Nicely done. Flash Emperor's Divide, and Croco now finds himself in amongst it. Let's see whether he can keep himself alive as Pungyeon sidesteps the seismic shove and then takes a billion rocks to the face and dies. Croco going 1v1 against Berserker, and it does not work. But Life is on the floor once again. And Bro win yet another team fight, this time with a triple kill for their AD carry.
DN Freaks try to punish, but unfortunately they're not able to take out the carries off the Bros. Close and Hype stay strong and just deal with everyone in front of them. Yes, Berserker gets a little bit of cleanup, but ultimately Bro come out ahead after securing the Herald as well.
Yeah, really nicely played here by the Bros. And they're the ones that got impressive, but for the opposite reasons, you know, and not necessarily ones you want to talk about. The DM Freaks are going to try and defend their bottom outer turret. Just don't know about it, as it will be taken down. The rest of Bros still defending, making sure that these two are going to be able to make it out okay as Berserker is coming over once again. Let's see whether DN Freaks are going to be able to fight for this soul point that Bro are now starting up.
Once again, Doiv, no ultimate, no flash, so he has to walk in to get access to this dragon. It's so hard against this team.
Yep. Shape Splitter is at least going to buy them a little bit of information as there's a flash. Nabs too as well, as Life is able to at least get something done, but it's another great flick back onto Berserker, and he just throws himself into the mix. I don't know about that one, as this team fight has Morgan in it. Pungyeon being able to find the Braum is kind of cool, but who cares? Hype's able to shut him down, and this Scion being started up. And sometimes, you know, we'd be talking about Otacon being like, oh, this is a mistake. Well, I think the Bros are probably going to be okay. That's my feeling. The rest of the DN Freaks are going to try and prove me wrong, though. Teleport comes in. It's an honest 5v5. Can the Bros get something done? Morgan's been softened up here.
Yeah, you got to remember as well the resist shredding that comes out, even if you are tanky.
Arrow going to connect onto Pungyeon. There's the flick back as well, just delivered on a silver platter. But the answering kill is going to be there. Mid lane for support, though, doesn't feel great for the DN Freaks. And Arakan going to be left alone for the moment. And the DN Freaks not wanting to let it reset.
I think it's the right call from Bro here to back away. You got the pick, great, but unless you have a massive advantage, unless you're able to go like 2 for 0 with the picks, it just shreds so hard. Even though we have these tankier members on it, it's not just about the HP like being whittled down, but the resist shred, especially when we had lane swap meta, where picks like Sion would be, you know, down 50, 60, 80, 100 CS on the 80 carries. A fed Sion is demonic.
Well, let's see whether this fed Sion can just drive his way out, or whether he doesn't even have to.
He just walked by them, and the Unending Despair healed for 182.
Yeah, that's pretty silly. Oh, Shape Splitter, 6 points in Australia for that one. Between the posts.
Oh, you have your weird rules, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you
miss, you get a point.
You get a point, yeah.
And if you really miss, you don't. You don't get a point for really, really missing.
So how much? So would that? So that was between. So that would get the full points.
That's 6 points, yeah.
But if it misses slightly, it's just the 1.
It's just the 1. Idea that they're going to be starting this one off.
It is
on down very quickly. Okay, teleport in. The Sion is going to be joining. That looks like the decision is, let's just do it. And let's see whether Nike was the right call, as they do manage to get the Arakan, so they get the buff, but can they find more? That is just one with the Pop Blossom, but it might be the best one that Life has found so far, as Dudu also able to take down Croco. Pungyon turns up to the fight so that he can just get recalled, and the rest of the team is also dead now as well. Well, not dead, but sort of dead.
Yeah, eventually. Croco loses his life, but Closer gets a good flash here to dodge the Azir, and then this is when Hype shows up, and it's like, okay, and Morgan got it.
Pungyon like getting over the wall and being like, I'm ready to DPS, and then immediately getting arrowed to the face.
That is significant though. The recalls rather than the death that Croco had means they are able to pick up the dragon and deny soul from Bro for a bit longer.
Yep.
And I do think that,
all right, Morgan gonna get McHale's, but still taking a lot of damage here. Tanglebub's not going to connect, is now Croco trying to come on over. As Berserker hunting, does have the Void Seeker in the air, but doesn't land that onto Croco.
The sad thing is there were some pretty great spots for potential TP on a flank, but you know, Jace was already there, and it's a Jace, and Azir had no TP, but that's a sort of play when they're pushed up like that you really could have seen an angle to punish when you see it.
Yep, there it is. That's a lot of blocks being put together, as Morgan almost took an damage, but did not. Arrow going to connect here onto Pungyon, who will be able to get over the wall. Flash out from Berserker is now trapped in between the wall and the other wall. That was a bit awkward, as now Morgan is tanking. Is he under any threat? No, he's not. Croco going to be dashing in on top of Life, but Life isn't too worried about it. And we had a lot of potential engaging and not a lot of actual engage.
Did get the flash from Doiv and Berserker though, some pretty big cooldowns to burn, although at the cost of 2 big ultimates in the Ashe and Brahms, you're not going to have this dragon fight in 10 seconds. Oh, Doiv.
Yeah, there's the Pop Blossom though, finds 3 in the backline. Dudu on a flank angle, but Croco's pretty tanky. Morgan's immovable, and they go 1 for 1. But there's the crash. This Sion. Oh no, it is despair, but it's despair for DNF, as Berserker going to get ripped to shreds. And yes, Morgan is unable to be killed.
They just cannot cut through him, you know? He walks forward, and in the meantime, the rest of Bro is slowly mounting ahead with the power of the Braum, the Talia, the Ashe, just shredding any target, and Morgan is just unstoppable. To get a good amount of sustain out.
I like it.
In between all this poke. Now, it has been started by DNF. This is risky.
Yeah. Morgan's health bar is well and truly recouped, though. See what the Bros can actually do off the back of it, as the DN Freaks not starting off any fight just yet, as Dudu might be the target. There's the crash from Morgan. Pop Blossom, though, used mainly defensively, but Croco is dead, and now the Baron not smiteable on their side, and DN Freaks will be able to lock it down. They cannot lock down the team fight. Berserker going to get arrowed as well, as they all just try to run after him. Look at Hype, he's going so fast. The Penta for Hype off the back end of the Baron attempt from DNF. And the Bros are going to walk down the mid lane and win game 1.
This is what your bro tax pays for.
Exactly. That's why you need to paint the chat purple, ladies and gentlemen, because then you get magic like this.
Baron may be secured by DN Freaks. Doiv doing his best against his old team, but Hype has been untouchable this game, and they will be able to take that game 1 win.
Really nicely done. Morgan, an absolute monster. on this Scion. I swear, always in the right place at the right time. As this Nexus, not long for the world, as Hype just trying to augment the kill bar. And in fact, it's Closer that grabs a couple of them. Create havoc, right? And that is where Zeri really thrives. Being able to pick off targets one after the other as the coordination isn't quite there.
Window potentially just reset. He is healing up though himself, so I think he's going to stay around a bit longer.
Whoa, he flashes and he just kills him.
That was slick.
That was slick, but also, Pyongyang, what are we doing?
He could stay around, end up getting caught out. Speaking of caught out,
yeah, Morgan could be in trouble here because that's an overheat. That's a flash forward. Dudu may have silenced himself, but not the crowd here in Lowell Park, as that is a solo kill. Able to sweep this out as well. They know there is no information for Morgan. No flash, no hope, as there's the equalizer. Morgan now gonna have to walk behind his turret, shattered and destroyed. Life even able to get out of there, only one turret shot. Oh man, it's about as easy as that. As Croco gonna answer with a dragon. And yeah, Morgan not having a good rush. Well, Doi is definitely a Wukong, is now just going to go in on top of Morgan. The Ghoulie wall is gorgeous, but what can they actually do about it? Because down goes the Yorick. Dudu is going to be answered though, and the teleport is coming in. It is so slow though, as Closer comes on forward, gets over to the other side of the wall. The charm is good from Pyongyang, and he knows he has to get out, but it's a 2 for 2. And the top side for the DN Freaks was so strong.
Yeah, unfortunately backfiring. The fear from Croco get a lot of value, and then when Closer turns up, he's able...
In the meantime, it's a battle for Crab.
Yeah.
And Doi smites it, so he cannot lock down this grub. But in they go. That's a great Magna Storm from Life, as now Polo finds the quickness onto multiple people. Pyongyang making his way over. Flash out of the way of the charm is good, as Croco trying to get out, and Life says, nope, you stay right here. No flash available. And that is also going to be some grubs going over to the DN Freaks, and they are getting a real advantage off the back of this one.
Yeah, Croco had his flash treading on the flank. The fact Dudu also forces Hype away, it leaves the Nocturne as an isolated target in the pit. And then Dudu just chases Hype away, gets the flash, fighting again immediately.
Yeah, another Cyclone to come through here from Doi, and Morgan is dead yet again.
Why is he there?
I don't know. We just came out of a replay.
Guys, there's a reason you pick Yorick.
He teleported there.
There's a reason you pick Yorick. It's not that. It's not to team fight dragons.
It's the side lane, much like what Dudu is doing. As maybe he's in trouble. Life is going to come on over. Let's see whether this 2v2 is going to work out, as he does get the scrap shield, the Magna Storm as well. The equalizer is cooking them this whole time. As Croco turns around, but it's not enough. The scrap shield, and Dudu just cooks him.
Bit of a top diff in this game, you know.
First Star Blood, as well as the first 3 kills, and the DN Freaks will get themselves some feats of strength. And Dudu picking it up.
The way out, you just kill whoever you can see in that small pocket of light.
Well, Croco's going to get jump scared. The equalizer comes down. He decides to not walk down it, which I think makes some sense. Then he makes it dark and dies.
You know, should there be a spooky Rumble skip? Because I feel like he's a lot spookier than the Nocturne right now.
Yeah, by the way, that Paranoia... I think he needs to buy Magi's and a needlessly large rod. That's what I want to see.
Have the Shadow Flame.
Nor the Magi's.
It's kind of crazy. I thought he had more gold, you know?
Yeah, me too. A little bit odd. Still going to augment himself with a bunch of extra AP, and that's going to feel quite nice.
For Bro right now. They do have pick potential, so maybe that's it. But as we saw before, some picks are easier than others.
Well, Morgan has put Dudu in the Ghoulie wall. There is actually a lot of value here because the equalizer does basically nothing, but the Paranoia now going to come in. Morgan actually staying alive for so long, and my god! They're able to get the top side already! The DN Freaks, I don't know how they lost that, but the Bros had the answer.
Warm in to deal with the Wukong. 2 big pickups, and if you look, those are the 2 people with the most kills. The big Closer has the same lead as Rumble does. And now Dudu has the Shadow Flame.
Well, this turret going down, and Croco not going to get hit in a good spot. Is it time that we now talk about things like the Zeri situation that could happen? As this turret will get taken out. 5 grubs certainly helping on that one. So the DN Freaks
comes to level 16 on the Ahri. That is a massive spike. No one else is even level.
Phenomenal charms going to connect here as Croco is just dead. And you know, you've been stacking up the house of cards. We're still going in for more. Oh my god.
Yeah. Closer just to level 15.
And they haven't even taken a Ruinous Archon or anything like that. Just supervising the Archon. And Closer, maybe he's in real danger this time. Does have to use the ulti.
It's a big cooldown gone though. DM Freaks. Yeah, get a look at Archon.
Straight onto it.
Against the Nocturne though. This is pretty scary.
Yeah, this is danger. Follow in the area, quickness in hand, Life just flashing on over. The Magnustorm catches him as he flashes away, has the quickness there as well, moves pretty fast, as now it could be a little bit of danger for good old Dudu. Hype coming on over, they will be able to get a kill for the Zeri, but they will lose the Archon for it. And if you thought that Pungyan had a experience advantage before, he has more of one now.
End up going for a trade. You know, they do get the Rumble, they do get the tier 1 mid, but...
We have here in the LCK. So I looked at it and I was like, DN Freaks, with this lead that Dudu managed to get in the early stages, he was 3-1-3. I was like, wow, there is no way they're going to be able to do anything about this. But, and Polo is going to die, so that's really going to help the DN Freaks. But their biggest issue has been... And then the Bros don't really have too much of an answer.
I just have no idea what he was doing there.
Yeah.
Or how, like, as a Rakan of all champions, is just dying solo to a Wukong.
Well, Dudu is going to just supervise this Baron, and that does just go over for free.
Yeah.
Quizzical.
Some big item spikes coming through as well. Berserker picking up the Infinity Edge.
Well, we're going to trade Baron for maybe a bunch of health on this inner turret.
Oh, the Maiden? No, he's not letting it go.
Saves his Maiden. It's always
Infinity Edge for Hype as well, so he's pretty strong.
Is going to put down his Ghoulie Wall. That means that Doid, Nimble Strike to get himself out of the way. Is Life going to get slowed down? Polo making his way in, crash down. Not quite working, as there is the Paranoia going to be used just to save the top laner of Bro.
Not sure how needed it was after Morgan flashed. I think he was pretty out, but either way, they popped the cooldown to...
Oh, we're playing the side lanes though, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and especially when Morgan's pushing on the side, if you come and match him in that lane, makes it very uncomfortable.
Cool. Croco going to come on over and actually shadowing Closer, but also might be able to guarantee that this does go down. Doiv possibly getting into position here as the Cyclone not going to find the knock-up, and the Strikebreaker going to slow him up enough for Closer to get out of there. He did have to use the ultimate, so that's highway robbery. You shouldn't be. Maybe they're happy that their turrets are alive.
It's Ruinous Cloud Soul, which represents
a lot of running fast.
A lot of movement. Well, even like playing Zeri into a team with a ton of movement speed is so annoying, because
yeah, you're like, what am I, like, what even is my gimmick now? Because she's the one that's supposed to be running real quick. But also, turret going to go down.
You have to hit your Qs, you know, and if they're going side to side fast.
I thought it was more that, you know, you're supposed to be running fast and they're stealing your thing.
It's a bit of both, you know.
All right, Duskbringer going to be doing something. But the DN Freaks, slowly but surely, getting themselves into a better and better position in this game as Closer finds the gap there. And another inner turret will hit the deck here. DN Freaks very comfortably able to push this lead. Baron is just gone. Berserker does so much damage. My goodness. Okay.
It gets used right at the end.
Well, now Croco is going to get engaged on as well, as Pungyan looking for it, but he's in a little bit too early. There's the Paranoia, and now Hype doing a lot of work. Doiv not finding the value with the Cyclone, and Berserker does manage to take down the Rakan. Hype still doing some work, but Berserker is so huge in this fight. Morgan, 1 versus 3, and I don't think he really likes those odds. He's surviving for quite some time, but the Maiden's getting confused, and the DN Freaks, they get the ace, and they're going to look to bring us to that game number 3.
And there's a sad Bro fan in the bottom right of your screen. Gonna have to try and find...
No. This is the thing. If you're a Bro fan, don't be sad. You get to watch another Bro game.
True.
For free. Because otherwise, it just would have never happened.
Well, actually, is it free? Because you're paying Bro tax for that game 3.
All right, well... Yeah, that's a good point. You're going to have to pay a lot.
Yes, you are, Degon. You have to pay your Bro tax.
I'm hoping that Whale comes back as well, because they're going to need all the help they can get if they want to win this one. As 9,000 was the lead in the end. For content. That's the whole game plan for the Bros. They lost a game on purpose so that we could have as much Bro as possible.
Immediate.
Yeah.
The fact that you have your bot laner here and your jungler.
Yeah, Hype actually taking a while to go for his but that's okay. Ruthless Predator procced here, and Morgan actually doesn't go for the minion. As Pungyon, this time, he is likely to die as Gravity Field goes down, and he is burning. Doiv doing a lot of damage here, though, as you can see, and the Spiraling Despair actually coming on through there as Doiv unable to find Closer, but the Ignite comes down from Life. He gets the shield, but it's not enough to keep him alive. Now Doiv's the one that's in trouble. He's spinning around a lot as Croco is able to take it with the bleed. A lot of damage over time between these two junglers, but it is Bro coming out on top as far as the kills.
And it's a small thing, but if Pungyon had been able to force Polo's flash earlier, just so they can hug the homies, you know?
Yeah, I think it's very wholesome.
It's very cute.
I like it a lot. Sometimes you do need a hug. As Pungyon, he's going to get a hug from a doggo, and often that is really therapeutic. This time it's not working out for him, as he's just going to be taken out.
Assassin-focused champion. But if she just launches the Q at you, it does so much damage, especially with the bleed. Especially if she hits 2.
Yeah.
Then you're chunked.
Well, Bro just going to give that one up. Morgan is fighting, and Ox, come on, man.
Especially with the Chemtech Soul as well, it takes so much pressure off, because neither team is really as concerned as you might be with other souls.
Croco is going to get engaged on here. Headbutt Pulp comes through from Life, but he's taking a lot of damage. Does have the Unbreakable Will. Untargetable is Croco, and now out of the fight. Doiv also going very, very low as Hype's at full health, but they take down the Poppy to start this one off. Phenomenal headbutt, but where is the answer? As Hype goes in and nothing really happens, they take out the Lilia, and out goes Berserker with the Blast Cone. Dudu, in the meantime, is here on the bottom side of the map. And so he is going to be able to answer this somewhat, but DM Freaks fighting with a man disadvantage and they lose out.
I'm just not sure on the decision not to TP Dudu in. Like, maybe they felt that they didn't have a good ward for him to get to, but then why opt into that fight?
Maybe Dudu just said no thanks. But maybe he should have said, yes, I will. As Berserker is in trouble, he's going to get flashed on by Hype. Hype really wanted to get that kill, but Croco says, nah, mate, you're not getting it. That's my 5th, my friend.
Like, that is one of the pivotal points of this game, I feel, so far, has been that fight. And now he might also... No, they just force his ult, okay.
That's a big crocodile.
But, yeah, just really, like, the
Back
Renekton...
to it one more time. It is now going to be Bro pushing up this mid lane, though, and they will be able to take down the outer turret. So DNF letting things slip a little. He wants to get Shelly. And so that's where he's going to be. Polu.
I mean, here. Bro have no right to contest this because of the fact that Close is bot.
Guess what they're going to do, though.
TP, but he's actually running up very fast.
Yeah.
And Dudu is not TPing.
Yeah, Doiv is just spinning around. Watch out, Ape does absolutely nothing as the Infernal Chains are in. Doiv is just melting, and he will go down. As Croco gets over there and takes him out, there is the evicted Crocodile as well, as now Life is just by himself. Berserker's on the Gravity Well, and he will be taken out as well. And it's a double for Hype. Morgan's over the wall, wanting to get some revenge on this Crocodile, who will get pulled back and just obliterated. Pungyon just has to watch as all of his friends go down, and there's nothing he can do about that.
And I just can't understand the decisions the DM Freaks are making. They don't. It's so confusing to me why DM Freaks end up playing this out the way they did.
Loves it. They got a BF sword on Hype already.
Don't do it, Doiv.
Croco is a 7-0-1 doggo. And so they don't die to him. So that's good news. Morgan going to take this outer turret on the top side of the map, though, as Rosa can just walk underneath the turret, throw down a gravity field, and even put out Pungyon as he kills the
Max, I'm seeing on the... They're TPing, they're committing!
Sniper's near APOC, you know, it's not like this, DNF. Croco goes untargetable, guys. He does that a lot. As now Life moving forward, looking for the pulverized angle, and Morgan is moving in. The flash forward from Close, I don't know about that one. It's a double pole from Life, but he's down so low already. And Bro is just kind of untouched. Hype wanders past the Otacon and presses his R button. Dive in so much trouble, a huge explosion as they take down the Poppy. But who cares? Croco is massive. He flips over the wall and Morgan is flying towards Pungyon. A triple kill. That's a 10-0-1 Nefiri for Croco. And he's looking to make that one 11 as Pungyon looking to go down for the 11th kill. Yep, the doggo keeping it binary here on the Rift.
I just don't know what compelled them. It's like something affected DM Freaks. They're like, you know what? It's time just to send Otacon and
We're going to need so much to destroy in the enemy team's base. Doiv going to come on over. We'll be able to at least get some of the chickens.
Well, I do have some good news for you. But they're killing Polu, so
yeah,
I'll leave.
Polu may be dead. Does get interrupted. My God, the Arcane Storm damage is disgusting. Life is not long for this world. It's a double for him off the back end as Morgan starting to become an absolute menace on the Rift. And Dudu is going to find himself the last man standing. Croco gets, I think he's 12th or 13th or something like that. Maybe he's going to grab 14. That's a bullet time to the back of the head. Point blank range. And the bros say, not today, DN Freaks. It's 0-10 time. And unfortunately, still winless here in the LCK. But the bros, a good bounce back.
Yeah. Dudu does just end up killing Polu with a flash, but it's like, whatever. Doiv is just getting chased down, and it felt like Croco just one-shot him, basically.
DK or KT?
It's KT.
Oh, God.
So the 0-10 primed KT takedown is a potential future.
Honestly, that one's winnable. That is definitely winnable.
And also, it would be very funny.
What is happening? Having a look at what... oh, they got the Otacon! They did it! It was their dream, and it has been achieved! As Life is going to see what he can do about getting them off the Nexus. The Otacon for Nexus trade is not what I was expecting, as the shortest keeper's verdict is going to push them away, and there goes the game. That was ridiculous.